A seemingly happy family load up in their truck with their family dog and drive down the road. Only their dog would be seen alive again. Welcome to Shifting Veils. My name is Michelle.
And I am Isaiah. And this is where we talk about things we find just outside of Clearview. So if you like the unexplained, possibly paranormal, and always strange, stick around as we explore the possibilities of what is beyond our natural senses.
In October of 2009, the Jamison family went missing, and what exactly happened to them is still a mystery. The only thing that is known for certain is that on that day, 44-year-old Oklahoman Bobby Jamison, his 40-year-old wife Sherilyn, and their daughter Madison, who was 6, all disappeared into thin air. Neither Bobby nor Sherilyn told anyone that they planned to take a trip or leave town. They had, however, mentioned that they were looking to find 40 acres of property to purchase, and if that could be considered a clue, it would be the only one possibly pointing towards where they might have gone. A few days later, the family truck was found about an hour's drive away from... Not from... It was found about an hour's drive away near Red Oak, Oklahoma, in the Sandboys Mountains. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is a place I've never been.
I mean, it looks right.
I think it might be Sandboy. The S is silent.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, somewhere around Red Oak, y'all. Inside the truck was the family dog, Maisie, who was malnourished, but still sitting loyal in the back waiting for her owners to return. That is sad. Poor baby. What else was in the truck? There are wallets, ID cards, mobile phones, a GPS system, and around $32,000.
Sounds
Jeez.
like sounds like the dog just took the family out to get sold.
Right? Yeah, the dog's been caught red-handed. To this day, where they got that money from and what they plan to do with it has not been discovered. It is also not known if the family of 3 had voluntarily left the truck or been forced out of it. Could they have possibly been meeting someone to talk about a plot of land? I would think maybe that would be a reason why they had that much money, but if they were forced out of the truck, why wouldn't the person that forced them out take the money?
I
That's
mean,
that's always been weird to me. Who would
was
leave that much money?
was there a plot of land where they parked the truck at?
I don't
Or
know. It was a lot of land. It was a mountain range. I don't know
the
if any of it was for
the
sale.
dog traded the family for the plot of land right there?
Yeah, but why didn't the dog leave and go get something to eat so it
My
was malnourished?
because he probably wasn't thinking about how he was going to open the truck doors, I
He doesn't
guess.
have thumbs.
No thumbs. What is he, opposable?
No one came back to the truck to claim the large sum of cash left, and despite extensive search efforts, investigators couldn't find where the Jamison family had gone after getting out of their truck and abandoning it. Why they drove out of there with their daughter, had such a large amount of cash with them, and then left it all with the family dog has never been definitively answered. In November of 2013, less than 3 miles away from where the truck had been abandoned, hunters found human remains laying side by side, and some reports say they were face down. In July of 2014, it was finally proven that the remains belonged to the missing family.
The dog had them executed?
I know. I felt sorry for Maisie in the beginning, but now she's just a little sus.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Um Due to the decomposition that the bodies had suffered over the past 4 years that they were missing, a cause of death for the family was not possible to determine. With new findings, the police initiated a fresh investigation. They found security footage from the Jamisons' house, which showed that on that day in October of 2009, the family was packing up their truck. Some have considered the details of the security footage as spooky. The family seemed to take their time packing and unpacking the car. They would stand doing nothing for long periods of time, not speaking, not moving, almost trance like. Items would be put in their car, then taken back into the house, then taken back out to the car again. I keep saying car, but I think it was a truck that they
Uh,
took.
you said truck earlier.
Yeah. Sorry.
The vehicle.
A vehicle. Yeah. Anyway, they did this for hours and hours, just repeatedly, putting stuff in, taking stuff out. Shortly before they disappeared, Bobby had reportedly told his pastor he feared his house was haunted and that he'd seen ghosts and at times angels on the roof.
It was Jesus.
Sherilyn had bought a satanic Bible, which Bobby told his pastor he'd read, leading some to wonder whether witchcraft was a possible motive in the strange disappearance. I don't know why people have to be involved in witchcraft if they read a satanic Bible. I don't.
It's been that way forever.
The story comes out of Oklahoma, which is where I sit, and it is pretty religious
I
around here.
was gonna
So
say, yeah, you're in you're in the Bible Belt, right?
underneath the buckle.
So, I mean, you're gonna get that. I mean,
uh,
anything that seems to be dark and spooky and suspicious could
yeah.
be witchcraft or
Could it be
satanic.
Satan?
Jesus.
Something strikingly odd to me is that on the home security footage, Sherilyn was seen putting a brown briefcase into the truck along with a 9mm handgun that she owned. Neither of those items were ever found during the investigation. While there have been a number of theories like drug addiction, depression, and even Bobby possibly being an FBI informant, what exactly happened and the truth of the family's final moments may possibly never be known.
Hold up. What does Bobby possibly being an FBI informant have to do with any of that?
I don't know where that came from. In all of my seeking of information, I could not find any, I have no idea where that came from. It just out of thin air. Someone was like, oh, he might have been. Now, I did hear some stuff about drug usage in the past. And so that's where the theories about drug addiction came in.
Well, I mean,
Be-
sure.
because in the past he had used, and I think that she may have as well, I think it was both meth and or heroin. But it had been a good while um,
Don't those drugs
since
make you
that had been
tweaky, though?
um, yeah, the way they acted in the video, I wouldn't say that that would have been meth. It could possibly have been heroin if that
Hmm.
was the case. Um, and the scene of things could have been either heroin or meth. But, um, I'm not saying that's what I believe happened. I really have no idea. It's crazy to me that there's a briefcase missing and a 9mm handgun missing, but there's what, 32K in cash money and credit cards
I mean,
just left.
this is all looking like it's pointing to the dog. I think Maisie's pretty guilty right here. You know what they say when it comes down to a wife or husband getting killed? Almost always the spouse, almost always
I
the dog right here. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know their remains. I don't think they were fully intact. They couldn't determine cause of death. They were all laying there in a row.
Hmm.
Unless they poisoned themselves, I would maybe think that they were lined up and shot. This is me, just me and my imagination trying to come up with theories. But
Okay,
that gun is missing.
I was gonna
And
say, was there any gun wounds in the skeleton itself?
they
Did
didn't
you
find
see?
any, but
None.
I don't know if they would, they might have been able to find casings, but they didn't find any casings. But I
Hmm.
mean, they were out there for what, 4 years?
Enough to be just remains. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I
Huh.
don't know. It just, and when I read all of it, my imagination went to, okay, Well, the briefcase obviously had a shit ton of drugs in it. And somebody wanted their drugs back. So they took the briefcase and they took the 9mm and they lined them up and shot them all in the head and took off, not realizing there was also 32K there because they just wanted to get away from the scene and left. But that's just me in my imagination. I am not a detective.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's just strange to me that bodies or skeletal remains are perfectly lined up, laying side by side next to each other.
I'm After all those years, especially out. This was in the woods, right?
It's in a mountain range, so
In
yeah,
a mountain range. Okay.
I mean, it's not a,
It,
it's hunters that found them. So,
so, I guess my curiosity really kind of picks up where there's no animals that had disturbed the remains in any manner.
oh, they
That's
could have. They're just bones at this point.
Yeah, but if they're lined up next to each other, and well, you also said the remains weren't complete, right? They weren't.
I don't think they were complete, and it was just said. Some said they were laying side by side next to each
Okay,
other.
I gotcha.
They may or may not have been.
Hmm.
You know, who knows? It's hard for me to think that being out there for 4 years, basically in wilderness, that nothing messed with the remains.
Yeah,
There's
and
there's
that's
hungry critters out there.
exactly that's where my head was going because I thought, well, if they're just laying there lined up, everything's just there, then that makes it really odd to me because nothing disturbed them. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
probably did.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, this is the point though. Is like it's a mystery. Like,
It is a mystery. And you know what? I don't think, let me go down here. I know I have a link to include in all of everything, but I don't know if I have a link for that video. I'm going to see if I can find one. If I can find one, then we'll, like the
ooh,
security footage, if I can
really?
find
Yeah,
one, we'll include it in like the information for the episode. Cuz it's just weird. It's really weird. Of course it's not hours and hours long. It's kind of time lapsed,
sure.
but yeah, they acted really strangely.
Huh. All
So,
right. Well, while you're doing that, I can move on to the next story.
okay.
Around 2:30 a.m. on Valentine's Day in 2000, Harold Degree looks in on his 9-year-old daughter Asha and finds her sleeping in bed. An hour and a half later, truck drivers report seeing a young girl matching Degree's description walking along Highway 18 in Shelby, North Carolina, about a mile from home. One of them turned around to try to approach her, but when he got back to where he last saw her, she wasn't there. From all accounts, this is the last time she was believed to have been seen. At around 6:15 that same morning, her parents would discover her missing along with her backpack. Asha, now known as Shelby's sweetheart, had packed a backpack and left her home sometime between 2:30 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. during a bad storm that knocked the power out in homes across her town. A year after her disappearance, that same book bag would be found wrapped in black trash bags and buried along the side of the road on Highway 18 in Burke County, close to 30 miles away from home. Years would pass before officials would announce what was in the book bag. In Asha's book bag were two items that did not belong to her. One was a Dr. Seuss book, McElligot's Pool, which is one I've never read before, and the other, a New Kids on the Block concert t-shirt. The book was from her school library, but she had not checked it out, and the shirt was not hers. In 2016, investigators released new evidence. They believed Asha may have gotten into a dark green vehicle in the morning of her disappearance. The investigation into Asha's disappearance has remained active through the years, and in 2024, investigators served several search warrants for properties belonging to Roy Dedman's family. Investigators said DNA found on Degree's belongings has been linked to one of the Dedman daughters, who at the time, this daughter would have been 16 or 17, and a man named Roy Underhill, who lived at several properties owned by the family. Underhill is now deceased. Roy, wife Connie Dedman, and their three daughters have all been named as suspects in the case.
How weird. I don't know. So,
This makes me think of the new movie that's coming out. It's called like Weapons or something like that.
I haven't
Where
seen the trailer for that. What is that?
there's a bunch of kids in a classroom are there one day, and then the next day, like they're all gone. It's just the kid. It's just the kids in one classroom, and everybody in town is like saying that this teacher is like a witch, and she's
Oh,
done something with the children, but the children like all like up in the middle of the night. I think it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like all just up and walked right out their front door and just ran down the street and off into the distance. They don't know what happened to the kids or anything like that. I want to see that movie, but that's what this makes me think of. Is like she just like up and left, and not with really any supplies or anything. She just left with a T-shirt and a book.
it's really weird. I mean, like what was the intent? Maybe she was going to hang out with one of the How
She
old is
is
she?
she's too young to be wanting the new kids on the block.
How old? She's 9 years old. She's not too young to be wanting new kids on the block,
Yes,
but
she is.
she is too young to be hanging out with a 16 or 17-year old.
Well, yeah.
And that's how the daughters were, or the one. So, who would she have been going to hang out with? Um, that's wild. I don't know. It's hard for me to it's hard for me to get like a grasp on that. I mean, unless where she was going had nothing to do with any of these people, and she just got in the car trusting one of them.
I see the way this looks to me is that she wasn't going to meet anybody specifically. She left with she was a 9-year-old who took a book and a T-shirt. So to me, that speaks to me that she was at least raised to at least have something to entertain herself and to have an extra shirt or some sort of extra clothing with her when she goes anywhere.
I thought those things didn't belong to her, and the book she didn't check out.
They don't belong to her, but that's the only explanation I can have for that those being in her book bag at all, unless something was placed like taken from her book bag and placed in her book bag.
I think whatever she had in there was taken out, and the book bag got used by somebody else after that, which
Hmm.
is pretty messed up. Um,
Well, I mean, if you find an empty book bag on the side of the road and it's just there, I mean, if you
I
need
don't
something, I
know.
suppose. But
Uh, no
I mean,
arrest. If, go. Oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was just no, it's okay. I was just gonna say it's remained active through the years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still ongoing as far as I can tell. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It is, I believe. Actually, no arrests have been made in connection with Asha Degree's disappearance, and the Deadmans deny any connection to the missing girl. It's still an active case. If you have any information or know anyone that does, you can find the numbers you can call to report what you know in this episode's description. There is a $45,000 reward being offered for information.
So let's see. She went missing in like 2000, right?
Let me go up here and look again. It was, yeah, 2000.
2000. So she's gonna be in her 30s at least.
Yeah, she would be. I don't know. I don't know if she's still around.
Yeah, none of us know. I mean,
I don't know. It's just crazy.
it's
That's a
scary to
long
think
time.
that people can go disappear like that. I mean, and you've seen and heard cases of people in just up and missing and then like being found, decades down the road and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh my god." And they're like, "I don't know who that person is." But they're like, "You match their DNA and everything. You are the person."
Yeah.
But they've gone through, I don't know, a process, maybe brainwashed or something, and they're like a completely different person at that point.
Or they were just so young,
Or that,
you
you
know?
know, stolen as a baby, I
Hmm.
mean, stolen straight out of the infirmary at the hospital. I mean, that's happened.
Yeah. It's wild. It really is. And I know they're not really common, but I know that there has been cases of people going missing into thin air and then 45, even I think I came across one that was like 52 years down the road.
Hmm.
They resurfaced, you know, and it's just, that's crazy.
It is. It very much so is.
And it's wild if, like, you know, people that remember the case from when it happened are still around to, you know, welcome you back into what you were originally born into, you know,
Yeah.
as far as a family. That's just crazy. I don't know. Um, we have one more case we want to talk about, the Elisa Lam case. Um, Elisa Lam was a Chinese Canadian. Um, where's that? Where was it? Was it in Los Angeles? Is that where this place was that she
Where
went
she went
missing?
missing? Yeah.
Yeah. And back in February 1st of 2013, she went missing from the Cecil Hotel. She wasn't staying in the Cecil Hotel part of the hotel. It's actually split into two different places. One is Main, stay on Main at the Cecil, and the other part of it is just the Cecil Hotel. And the difference between the stay on Main is for people that are, it's kind
Classy.
of, yeah, it's a little classier because this place is located on Skid Row. There's a large homeless community there. Um, a lot of times, what happens when people get released from prison, they get dropped off in on Skid Row. So you'll have people go into the Cecil for like short term, not short term, for like long term, basically.
Well, I
Um,
mean, yeah, Cecil Hotel was known for. That's got even the Cecil Hotel itself has like three different sections, right? So they've got
I think so.
like long term, they've got short term, they've got like nightly term stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because there's all sorts of people there that go through there and everything. It's not a place you want to stay if you're going there as a tourist.
Oh no, no, no. Because I mean, the place itself, it's got a reputation, and we've discussed this before. We've talked about doing an episode just on the Cecil, so that'll probably happen sometime in the future. But it's got such a reputation. There's been serial murders, serial killers.
Serial murders, yeah. Lots of serial being murdered. Yeah.
uh, there's
There's
serial
been
killers. There's, I mean, just
there's
wild stuff that has happened in this
a
hotel.
a long list of suicides.
Yes. Yeah, I think in a matter of what, I don't know, 60 days, you're looking at, I don't know, almost 10 suicides, I guess.
Hmm.
It's just, there's just a lot all of the time. So, it's not the best place. I think she had kind of, I think she'd been a student and she was traveling, and that's why she was at the Cecil. Like, she was just trying to take in Los Angeles. I would have picked a different place. Like you said, it's not where you want to be if you're touring. Um,
Well, like we said though, she was on the classier side of the hotel too. So she was on the
she
Stam
was.
Main. So it was supposed to be the nicer side of it.
Yeah.
And so she
She
had
was.
the nicer rooms because they had the whole stay on Main. They recarpeted, they rewalled, they rewallpapered, they scrubbed the place up and down. They made sure that place looked nice enough for tourists and everything like that too. So
She's 21 at this time, and it's wild to me as a parent to think of 21-year-old staying in, I don't care how famous of a hotel, on Skid Row in Los Angeles. I think I would have only sleepless nights if I had a 21-year-old child
well, I mean
staying at the Cecil Hotel.
to be fair, the family were immigrants. So they were immigrants from Hong Kong. They probably didn't know the stories about Skid Row. They didn't know
Yeah.
the stories about
Well,
Los Angeles.
I'm not saying they weren't alarmed either. They might have been, but she is also an adult at 21.
It's true.
So no one is going to tell her what she can and can't do.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, so February 1st, 2013, she goes missing. Um, There were surveillance videos. There's cameras all in this hotel. Um, there's cameras in the elevator, um, which caught her doing some really weird things.
I
And
mean,
I think that was like the only clue they really had at all, if you could consider it, in her disappearance.
the only clues that they really had to go off of, like how she was doing or being, was the video, um, which they were concluding where it was edited at some point. There were parts that were
Hmm.
cut out. There was
Yeah.
stuff that was sped up. The way she was moving was sped up. All that stuff. Then there was also her blog. She had a blog spot,
Yeah.
um, and she did Pinterest. Everybody does Pinterest, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so there were things that in her blog that was like hinting at how she was doing, um, in her life, what she was thinking about, what she was doing, how things were going, and stuff like that, as well as the video that they finally came across, and the hotel finally handed over.
The surveillance.
Yeah, from the elevator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you've got like you've got different people that stay at the Cecil. You've got homeless, you have criminals, and I'm not saying that you have to be a criminal to be homeless. And then you have people that are tourists, um, but and different parts of the hotel where these different types of people stay. But they all come in contact with each other in the elevators. There's only two running elevators.
Yeah.
So you're going to pass one another. So for a little while, I think they actually did a search of the entire hotel. And what is it, like 700 rooms, I
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. If you're thinking about like how a lot of the rooms have common rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms that they crammed into this building, and
I
there's above 13 floors at least.
I think they went door to door at some point during the investigation, thinking. I think they were just convinced because there's no surveillance of her leaving
Right.
at all. Like she just disappeared somewhere in the hotel. So they were convinced she was somewhere in the hotel, that someone had murdered her and she was there somewhere. So they were going door to door and they found nothing going door to door. And um, it wasn't long after that people started complaining about their water smelling funny, tasting funny,
Mm-hmm.
being like a darker color.
Yep, looking different. Yeah.
Yeah, so they end up sending one of their maintenance guys up on the roof where there sits, was it three water tanks or four?
Four. I want to say
Four.
four.
Okay,
Yeah.
four water tanks that are for this entire building. He goes up there and he's checking out these water tanks. And this is where some inconsistencies start happening.
Mm-hmm.
He says that he comes to one of the tanks and the tank door is open.
No, at
No,
first
he said it was closed.
all the doors were closed on every single one of them.
Yeah, he said it was closed. He opened it, and when he opened it, he saw Elisa Lamb floating in the water. She was face up and white, is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she so that's why the water smelt funny, tasted funny, and was dark. Her body was in the tank decomposing, and people were drinking this water, bathing in this water, everything with this water. Um, which is that's just wild to me. It's just, man, it just gives me an ick. It gives me a really bad ick. It's like whenever you're out eating and you get a hair in your
Get hair
salad.
in your food? Yeah. Oh my god.
Ugh, and you're just like, It's
Don't
not right
even.
after that.
No, don't even. Yeah, you can't eat the rest of it. It's it, you're done.
So I'm sitting here thinking about that's kind of the ick that I get from it, but it's way worse because you're drinking
Skin cells. You're drinking hair,
fluids.
fluid, pus.
Oh my gosh. So,
Uh,
man, I just, oh, that's just atrocious. And
yeah.
why, from the very beginning, they said that they went up on the roof with like and searched, but they didn't take dogs up there. I don't think in the beginning.
Hmm.
I think they might have eventually. I'm not sure. I don't know why they would have because the maintenance guy found her in the tank. But yeah, they went up to the top and they searched and they said they didn't find anything. Well, why wouldn't you open those tanks and look in? If I'm assuming they didn't, because where else would she have been unless she wasn't in there yet?
Yes. Yes. I think I talked with you about this before.
Yeah, maybe she wasn't in there yet. How long did it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know how
I'm
long a
still.
body takes to like decompose, but it's in a tank that sits out in the sun constantly throughout the entire day. So there has to be some sort of decomposition, right? Because I assume colder water might slow decomposition, but hotter water kind of breaks things down a little quicker.
Yeah,
Um, so why did it take so long? Like what, almost a month? No, no, more than a month, right? Let's see.
yeah. I don't know.
No, when was it? It was 19th. So it was a few weeks. But like how did it not start happening sooner is what my question was. Like how did it not happen sooner? How did you not taste it sooner? How did you not
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And
but
it's not
the
like,
I was gonna say the inconsistency that Michelle was talking about is like later on they said that when the maintenance guy goes up there and looks, he had mentioned no, the tank door was open,
yeah.
so he
Mm-hmm.
looked.
Yep.
Sir, you are not doing your job properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. So there's there was a lot of people that got really interested in this case because of how she seemed to act strange in the elevator. So we had a lot of web sleuths trying to solve the mystery of this case, and there ended up being a lot of theories. Um, some we've even touched on already that maybe she wasn't in there yet. Someone murdered her and dropped her in. Although she had no obvious injuries to her body. She drowned. That's what they say. But the thing is something else that they found was in her autopsy was she didn't have any foam or fluids in her airways and in her lungs, which is very inconsistent with drowning.
Hmm.
So, that's odd. Uh, I don't know, but she also didn't have any injuries. She didn't have any drugs in her system other than what should have been there.
Hmm.
She was something we haven't mentioned is she was bipolar. She was on medication, but they did say that she was appearing to under medicate, that she wasn't taking, she didn't have as much in her system as they thought she should have,
Hmm.
and she had a lot more medication like in her apartment than she should have, considering when the prescriptions were filled. um
Now I want to say like that the because I just thought about it. The having more medication in her apartment could be just because it's autofilling, right? So if she's under
right,
medicating, so she's getting still getting medication on a monthly basis.
right.
So she's gonna have more. I mean, even with my kids during the whole marriage I had, like during the they have allergy medicines. We had
Mm-hmm.
like nasal sprays out the ass
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like they don't run out of it that quick. but we're still
Right.
getting it monthly, so we have like 6 extras.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand that completely. You know, when they did the autopsy, it came back as inconclusive at first.
Hmm.
And eventually they ruled it as an accidental drowning and pointed towards bipolar being an underlying factor. Um, because she was under medicating. I have a little bit of an issue with the under medicating pointing at bipolar being an issue. Um, there are a lot of people that are medication resistant when it comes to especially bipolar. And that's not saying that they are resistant, like they are being rebellious with their doctor and
Right.
say, no, I won't take a medication you're prescribing me. It's that the medications, their bodies are resistant to the medication, that they don't do the intended purpose. It's also really hard to find the perfect cocktail for every single bipolar patient. And it's really especially hard to find a doctor that is knowledgeable and willing to, with what's the word? Empathy, handle a bipolar
Uh,
patient in discerning what is going to work for them as far as medication goes. Because,
Actually listening to the patient.
yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. If you can imagine being put on a medication that gives you all kinds of weird side effects, that makes you feel horrible before it has a chance to make you feel better, and you have to weather that storm for at least 3 weeks, and then say you do it for 3 weeks and you turn out worse. So then you've got to come off of it and spend a period of time waiting for the half life of that medication to leave your system before you try it all over again with another one. But with bipolar, isn't so simple. You usually can't just take a single pill. You can't just give someone Zoloft for bipolar.
Hmm.
They have to take mood stabilizers. There's it's pretty typical for you to take at least two, if not three, different medications for bipolar. You don't always have to, but it's not uncommon. So,
Well, you've done your research. So is the mood stabilizer a hormonal drug,
mm,
or is a hormonal drug possibly another medication that's taken with that cocktail?
it could be, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I'm not
I mean,
sure. I haven't looked into it.
hormones do play a large part in a bipolar person's ups and downs.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, there's so many hormones in our body that do lots of
Absolutely.
different things. There's hormones that control our hunger. When you say hormones, a lot of times people just think of testosterone and estrogen or progesterone,
Mm-mm.
but we have
Mm-mm.
so many different ones that control our health, our mental health, our body health, our physical
Right.
health so much. So it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me. I feel like that's kind of it almost feels like a cheap shot to me for them to sit there and say it's an accidental drowning and say that unmedicated bipolar is an underlying cause. Um, I don't know. It could be a possibility, but I don't buy it. One of the reasons why I don't buy it is because there was no foam or fluids in her air passages.
Right. So there's probably something that caused her to die before she even hit the water.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
How can she drown if there's no fluid in her lungs or in airways?
Um, that in that case, we can also bring in the fact that she was found naked as well. Her
She was,
clothing
oh
was
yeah,
not there.
yeah, she was
Um,
naked. Her
she
clothes
was
were in the bottom of the tank, though.
she was coated with a sand-like particulate, and mind you, her room key and her watch was also found in her belongings.
Mm,
So everything was there, but they weren't on her.
yeah, yeah. Another one of the conspiracy theories. During this time, there was a particular type of tuberculosis that was kind of floating around Skid Row among a lot of the homeless population. And some people had come to the conclusion that she had been given this tuberculosis, or somehow she'd been infected with it
Yeah.
and then dumped in the water tank to infect more people. And I know it sounds really far fetched, but there is one connecting thing to that. I guess if you want to call it a conspiracy theory. Um, at that time, they had just released a new test for this particular tuberculosis, and it is called Lamb Elisa, which is Elisa Lamb's name in reverse, obviously. Um,
What?
it's really wild. Yeah, diagnostic test for tuberculosis that detects a certain bacteria in urine samples using an enzyme linked immune sorbent assay, which that's where the ELISA comes from. The ELISA comes from, is the enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. And the lamb is the long ass name for this bacteria that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Lipobaranamenan or something. I don't know.
Good try.
That's my best
Good
try,
try.
guys. So yeah, it's I mean, what this chick named Elisa Lamb goes missing, gets dumped into a water tank. And at the same time, this diagnostic test for this new tuberculosis that's going around the homeless population on Skid Row comes out. And some people were saying that this was a tuberculosis that was formulated in a lab to kind of get rid of the homeless population or maybe scale them down a little bit. And one of the ways that it was going to get spread around was by dumping an infected person's body in a water tank
I'm
in
gonna
the Skid Row area.
I'm gonna put
So,
my tinfoil hat on, and I'm gonna ask you all to send your applications in to be Michelle's new co-host, because I'm gonna go into this because this this is where it bugs me, because does it really seem that far fetched? Does it really seem that far fetched to like really like have a subject go out there, infect a group of people, and then be like, let's test out some new medications to see what works on these people,
no.
especially homeless, especially criminals. You know, you don't need to be homeless to be criminals. You don't need to be criminals to be homeless. Either way, does not matter. They are picking people who just got out of prison, got out of jail, who have no homes, no real life that makes any impact on anything aside from the 3-4 blocks around them. It is not that far fetched to think that the upper people would sit there and be like, you know what? I know the perfect place to test some drugs.
Well, not just testing, but to like make the population smaller because I mean, people are living in
Oh, sure.
popped up tents. People are
Sure.
living on cardboard boxes
Let's
that are
close
flattened
up Tent
out.
City a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, can we just go way 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 back and talk about maybe the one of the first times in this country that that happened, like whenever some blankets with smallpox all over them were passed out to some people.
I've never heard of that story. What's that?
Are you is that sarcasm?
Yes.
Please don't. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
You scared me for a minute.
Oh, dear, no.
Wow. I was like, no. Please tell me you know
I've
better
never
than
heard of
that.
that before.
But
What did you call it?
there might be some
Smallpox?
people that don't know that though. I mean,
I
way
know that.
back
Yeah, I
when,
know.
yeah, we
Well,
passed.
yeah.
There were, I say we, I wasn't there, I swear, but
I
some
knew it, Michelle.
blankets.
I knew it.
Part of my
Sus.
lineage probably had something to do with it, but the other part innocently died, okay? I I didn't have anything to do with I wasn't there. So some blankets that had smallpox on them were passed out to indigenous people, and you know, they died in large numbers.
Well,
So this isn't such a far-fetched thing.
so then it comes down to who is most, what's the word? Disposable.
Mhm.
Whoever's most disposable is the most useful simply because now they can be used to either die or test something out and they
They're a
can live.
blight to society. No one's going to miss them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people live on the streets. If they had family, then they'd be, you know, with their family. They have nobody. That's just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, these people just got out of prison. They're not part of the workforce yet. You know, I mean, just it's really shitty thinking. But that's basically, I think, where it goes.
It
So,
is shitty thinking, but it's been shown.
mm-hmm.
So, on the new website we have, guys, I'll try and put up a post on there whether I see black cars outside my home or not. Get
I'm
those
not looking out my
applications in.
windows for a while. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, this case, she was found, but and they said that like ruled it accidental and pointed towards her bipolar. But to me, this case is inconclusive. I have to say that I don't believe that necessarily is what happened. So,
And that's part of it why it's so inconclusive is because everybody's statements have changed. They've said one thing at the beginning, then in the middle they changed it, and then at the end they changed it.
yeah, the
And
door
so
was
that
open, the door was closed.
yeah, and they found her one way, they found her a different way, and they
Uh-huh.
there's been testing with like the different entranceways onto the rooftops. Oh, the alarm should have gone off. Oh, the security footage wasn't even complete. Like it's been messed with. It's been compromised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that say that this case is going to remain inconclusive unless something actually comes out.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. They said she was drowned, but then they also said it's really not common for a drowned body to be found floating facing up like she
Hmm.
was.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? Is that if it was drowned, it would be sunk. If it was, because it would have been soaking in all that water. It's not,
Yeah, by
but
then, yeah.
it floated, and so that's another thing that says that she was put in that tank more recently as to put when they found her, and it just I don't know. I've got a lot of theories on this sort of crap, and you guys might be thinking, "Well, this makes me think of a movie." And that movie's Dark Water, yeah. But
Uh-huh.
that's
Yeah.
based on a short story that was written in '96, though. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Maybe someone watched that movie and had an idea. I don't
And
know.
that's possible. It's not the first time.
No,
You
it's
to think
not.
about the Slender Man crap that happened with
Uh-huh.
that
Oh
phenomena.
gosh, yeah. That's another episode.
Dude, Slender Man is manufactured,
Mhm.
but
But that murder wasn't.
the
Or well,
phenom
the
I was gonna
attempted murder wasn't.
I was gonna say the phenomena that has happened afterward is something
Mhm.
else. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we have on Elisa.
I think that's all we can really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, like, follow, subscribe, and share with your spooky friends. And don't forget to send us an email if you have your own story to share.
I would really like to know like what you guys think about the Elisa Lamb case. Like what your take on it is. If you're aware of the story before we told it, um, or
Yeah,
after listening to us, you know what your opinion might
I
be.
was gonna say, are you Team Michelle or Team Isaiah? But realistically, Michelle and Isaiah stand on the same side of that thing. I think.
Yeah, I don't really have a I have a bunch of theories, so I don't
Yeah,
know if I don't know Team Tin Hat or
Team Tin Hat, Team Tin Hat, or Team Science.
right. Well, I mean the science. It'd be Team Tin Hat or Team Los Angeles Police Department.
Well, that's the problem with conspiracies too. Though, is they tread such a thin line between the facts and what
Mm-hmm.
can be connected with
Yeah.
those facts.
Okay, well, I think we're done here. So I hope you'll come back next week and listen again. You can watch our TikTok account throughout the week to get hints of what the next episode will be about. Until then, keep a light on and keep those curtains drawn after dark.